Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we have a panel coming up now, which is all about e-commerce and NFTs and how NFTs are going to be disrupting the entire e-commerce space. My name is Wesley, Ellul. I'm going to be moderating this panel. I'm from Quizando. But today we're going to be talking about physical items, digital items, e-commerce, and NFTs. This is a very exciting space, which I'm actually really enjoying the fact that I'm a part of. I've been in e-commerce since about 2005, so I've actually seen a lot of e-commerce buildings grow. But now with this whole NFT space, we have physical and digital items which can be paired and not. Well, we're going to go on a journey today. And today with me on this amazing panel is I have Jason, Cindy, and Oliver, who are all experts in the phygital space and all doing some amazing things with NFTs, but I'm going to actually allow them to introduce themselves. So Jason.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jason. I'm the co-founder of the Regimer. And what the Regimer doing is we do the reading protocol to connect the Web3 smart contract protocol and the Web2 system, like vending machine, post machine, or logistics system, like e-commerce system, so generate everything system. You can do the NFT connect in real life experience. Yeah, thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Cindy, so I'm founder of Mintology. We are building an NFT commerce platform to bridge brands with NFT users. I think before I venture into Web3 and NFT, I was always in e-commerce like Wesley, and also digital marketing and branding. So for me, I'm always very passionate about what is the technology can do to shape the space. Yeah, so that's why we're building this new platform. And obviously, we would want to bringing commerce model to the Web2 brands and NFT users by bringing like phygital product and things like that in the future. Yeah, so I'm happy to be here in the panel to discuss more. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Oliver Carding. I was the first to tokenize a physical object on Ethereum. I've been working in the crypto space since around about 2012, and I've been in the NFT space since 2018. Yeah, it's coming today to talk about what the future could look like.
Fantastic. Well, the idea of the entire e-commerce platform, I mean, we know e-commerce is the mover and shaker. I remember back in 2000, people were saying, why would I buy a book online? And lo and behold, that's the only place we buy books these days. Things have changed and changed very dramatically. So the first question I ask is, why do we need a digital asset associated to a physical asset? How is this going to change anything in e-commerce?
Okay. In my opinion, I believe that every brand will join the Web3 about a phygital. For example, like here you can see the Ultraman is the IP from the 1966. And why now they join the Web3? Because they need to know what is the next generation toy. So now my generation, the toy is like a figure and we can play. But now, for example, like Netflix, they born and they use the iPhone, they use the computer all the time. So to them, the digital item is already part of them. So about the IP, they need to know what is the next generation. Now the generation toy, for example, it's not a figure, it's not a phygital anymore. It's the digital is in a part of this. So they need to think how connect the phygital and the digital. So I believe that every brand will join.
Okay, but is this just for kids? Is it just for kids' toys? It's for more than that, I assume.
Yeah, totally. It's I do agree that it is kind of a future of entertainment in the sense that you can link a physical and digital and kind of take your physical item on a digital experience. But for me, I think the real benefit in this stuff is provenance, authenticity. That's not been done before. If you look at kind of every way that we've kind of measured authenticity before, it's just been done on closed databases. Actually doing it on blockchain is a real step forward. It's completely immutable. No one can tamper with it. That for me is where the value is one of the values and one of the utilities of phygitals is at the moment.
Okay, and with this, so we can now we can have our shoe, we can have a pair of shoes which we go and we have a QR code that says we own the shoes.
And you can also, as an added benefit to that, you can do really cool things like get a digital twin that you can then wear in Decentraland, things like that to it. It's just so many different benefits and bits of utility.
So why would a brand want to do this beyond the authenticity and like stamping out the black market, Cindy?
I think, yeah, definitely, like, depends on, like, what type of brands or what type of product they want to digitalize or, like, tokenize, right? So, obviously, for the consumer good, like, olive oil definitely don't need to do that, right? Because, like, there's no value add to it. But I think, like, for example, like luxury goods, obviously you can use it as an authentication. And also, so it really depends on the brand purpose. That's why, during the process of onboarding the brands, we always ask, like, what is the actual, benefit that you want to get from this digitalization or tokenization, right? So I guess, it depends on really how it can really benefit the brand users' perspective.
So also I can say, for example, we have cooperated with the Remade, it's the sneaker brand in America, and what they do that because the first 24-hour the transaction is over 200 times. So if he just sell the physical item, it's impossible, and every transaction he can get loyalty from the secondary market. So to him that is change his mindset, do the business. And now he do more. He do the tokenomics in the retail. Hold his NFT every 90 days. You got another NFT. We call redeemable NFT, and you use that redeemable NFT. Go his website and to see what you can redeem. So now he have the rule to create the RNFT, and now he have the rule to burn that RNFT. And for example, this season he cooperated with the Steve Nash, have the special edit the sneakers. So let's say you need to use 2 RNFT. So some people need to buy from secondary market, and some people will sell. So he just create a lot of RNFT for free, but he can get the revenue from the secondary market. So to him, it's totally different. Now he collaborate with the game, with the avatar, with everything. So, just open the business way.
Now, one of the things I actually find really exciting about the e-commerce space, and especially if you are a clothes creator, a brand curator, if you're issuing phygital items, this is the first time you actually get to know your audience directly. So many times we've had layers in between ourselves. We may have had some mailing lists if we did some direct sales, but a lot of items are sold on other platforms. They're sold on Amazon and whatever platform they may be, where we end up being the client of that platform and not of the brand itself, even though we're purchasing the brand. Now, this is the first time they can actually have that connection to us, because inside our wallets will be these NFTs, which will give them access to understand who we are and make more products and create community out of it. This is not something that all of a sudden is sort of, should I join their mailing list? But if I'm owning that NFT, I know that person's part of the community, and I know I can communicate to him in ways by dropping airdrops like the Remake is doing. And with your phygital items, again, you can speak to them directly about the new items you're creating on this. This is where I find e-commerce truly exciting, because it's going to change the entire marketing aspect, which we see to it. What do you think, Oliver?
Yeah, I agree. I think if there's one thing that Web3 has unlocked, it's just showing the value of community. You can properly connect, you've got the OX addresses, you can just drop whatever you want. You can also learn, you get real-time feedback on what people are liking, what they're not. Like you said before, you're never going to get that feedback if you're just dealing through a retailer. We've found it great in terms of actual product development, just seeing what people like, what they don't like, being able to speak to them, and then also testing things out. Airdropping things, like say sandbox assets, just to see if there is interest in that and if that is something that strategically we should develop for the product.
Now, the other side of the tokenizing of physical assets, there are problems that come along with it. Like I remember recently we had a chat about this panel before. I don't think you joined us, Oliver, but we were chatting about a wine industry. And the wine industry, where they are tokenizing the actual wine. So you buy the NFT and you keep that NFT, and when you want that wine, you burn that NFT and that wine gets delivered to you. Now, this can create other problems though in the space, can't it? If we're tokenizing and having the two assets in different places. Can you see any issues with that?
Yeah, I can. It's one of the biggest challenges with phygitals at the moment. Is actually keeping the physical item and the token actually linked to one another. Like, you could sell that toy right there, right now, but you could retain the actual NFT if you wanted. That's a challenge that this space hasn't really figured out yet. I think through standardization, and we'll probably get there, but phygitals are still quite a niche in this in the kind of wider Web3 space. I'm not sure how quickly that's going to happen.
Cindy.
Yeah, I think definitely, it's a very interesting topic, right? So I remember that I was watching a video like an art has been burned, to like make it like tokenized, right? So I think there's different ways to how we can really tokenize the phygital product. Some are like adding QR code, or some are like using the chips and everything. So yeah, like Olive said, I guess the market is still like defining like what is the best way, and along the way as well. But I think some of the platform like Boson or other platform are already like way ahead of leading the space. But yeah, definitely like a lot of us here are still exploring the best way to do it, I guess.
Do you see the separation of the two items a problem? I mean, some of us live today, many of us, we live in the physical world most of the time. Our children, they live in the digital world most of the time. We're in a space where I might be using the real shoes myself, but my kid might be using the NFT version of this in Roblox or whatever platform they're going to be using. Is there a problem in separating these two things and using them in different spaces? Couldn't we have co-ownership of the phygital and the physical and the digital?
Yeah, potentially. I think Cindy's point before was really poignant to answer this question. It actually comes down to the brand and what you're actually trying to achieve. But I do, to answer the latter part of your question, I do think that, yeah, you definitely will see in the future people owning several parts of an NFT, but that is then linked to a physical. We've already seen the idea of vaults, where people are just dropping off physical items, then being tokenized, being tokenized, and people are then being served the NFT. And I think we will see fractionalization come and be a bit more popular as those things get more popular. But I do think it just comes down to the brand or the project or what they're trying to achieve with the physical to digital link.
One thing I do like, and maybe Jason will be able to answer this a little bit more, about the physical and digital space, is that it gives you an option to buy all sorts of different things. As a consumer, we have small houses. Today real estate costs an absolute fortune. We can't store all the stuff sometimes we want, and actually having a sort of buying phygital stuff, which we'll then consume at a later stage, can actually be a big asset to us, because it allows us to still have the bling, still have the the Ferraris and things like this, but we might not have the space to store them. Do you see this as a benefit to it, or?
Yeah. I think that is not only benefit to the customer, also benefit to the manufacturer, because they can, when the people redeem and then start to produce the products, and they can solve a lot of materials, solve a lot of energy, solve a lot of waste. I think that is a good idea, because a lot. For example, like a toy, I really like talking about a toy industry. A lot of buy the toy, they like a collection the toy, but mostly they buy the collection is from the brand box, so they easy buy the same toy, and mostly they just sell on the eBay. If cannot sell, they just throw. So that is really, really vast. So if they can buy is NFT, and if they don't want it or they have the same, they just don't redeem. So they don't need to have the physical item to be the pollution. Another side, in a manufacturer, they can do a lot of rule. For example, use the 7 NFT and mix and become a spatial one, and to them the product is the same, but they save a lot of products, the material. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing I've noticed in especially the luxury goods space, they're using NFTs to help stop the black market. You mentioned eBay before, and I mean, I'm not sure if anybody in this audience has done it, but have you ever bought something from eBay and got like a fake copy of what you wanted? Or Alibaba, you said, okay, I'm getting an iPhone, and it shows up to be a 5 phone or something like that. With the whole digital NFTs, the digitizing these physical assets, that puts us in a position where we can trust things more, where we can make sure that we're not buying fake things. How do you think that's going to affect the e-commerce economy in general, Oliver?
Yeah, I think eBay did particularly well off two different things. A, the acquisition of actual authenticators, and B, their actual trust system. Like, their trust system is still absolutely unbeatable. But yeah, I think you are going to have to mimic some of that and build in some of that for the sort of Web3 space. But I do think that being on blockchain, it does make it a lot easier. But there's still a lot of work to be done. Just to get that right, it needs to, physicals themselves are still just a bit of an anomaly or a niche in the Web3 ecosystem. We will need some kind of protocol level thing to be built to standardize it if brands want to get involved in authenticating in that way. Otherwise, eBay do it in a really good way. I'm not talking on behalf of eBay, FYI. eBay are my employer. I'm not talking on behalf of eBay.
Sorry, I had no idea.
No, it's cool. I'm definitely not talking on behalf of eBay. But eBay do it in a very, very cool way, and they're a very unique way that they do it. They've obviously got these... It's all right, it's cool. Yeah. eBay have got these lovely places set up, these big centers for authentication. So they're in this unique position where they can authenticate in a Web 2 way. It will be interesting to see if that's still going to come in Web 3. There are other ways you could do it with kind of removing that middleman, but we're nowhere near that just yet.
Yeah, so we'll keep moving the topic on. Another fun thing that we were discussing a little bit earlier regarding, these Supreme drops, right? So all these pop-up sort of online shops or these drop items. They're amazing. People buy as many as they can of them, and they try to resell them. Now, the fact that they're physical today, it makes it a little bit harder to do the whole resale, because if you buy 100 Supreme shoes, you have to have them shipped to your house, and then you have to take those and reship them on somewhere else. Is phygital going to create more issues when it comes down to especially sort of like these secondary market movers who are going to try to buy a bunch, or is it going to stop them from doing so? Cindy. Okay, Jason. What do you think?
Yes, actually, to me, it's more easy to do that because I think because if you want to buy something on eBay and you are not sure that is the real, but now the NFT is very easy to do that. For example, like you buy the NFT from Nike Create, you go to redeem, and you will not thinking about you will get the fake Nike because it's a Nike Create. So in the blockchain, in the NFT, you can very easy to track who created that NFT. And yeah, so it doesn't matter where you buy, you just see is who created that. So I think that will help this business happen.
But I'm actually worried about the price fluctuation of items. So like as we've seen in the NFT space, people are buying and speculating and moving on. Now, this can affect the market as well. I mean, if you're buying all the Supreme drop and everybody wants that Supreme drop, you can artificially inflate that market very quickly because everybody wants a piece of it. Is this going to make it worse for the end consumer because they can do that? Or do you think they'll be putting limitations in line, Oliver?
In the case of Supreme, this kind of secondary market and resellers actually serve a really good purpose for driving hype and just securing the scarcity. If you want to do that in Web3, you have to truly still have scarcity. Like Web3 scarcity value is debatable. So yeah, I don't think secondary markets and reselling really hinder the price. Supreme is burning itself out just because they've increased the scale of the drops, and they've stopped the market. They've stopped marketing Supreme, right? Since I think it's LMDH bought it. It's now more targeted towards teenagers, and it's kind of falling out of favor with the streetwear
industry
fans.
So what as a panel now, this is just like your individual thoughts. What is exciting you right now about the phygital space? What is that one thing that you see that saying once this hits, it's going to go to the moon?
Up to you.
Yeah, sure. I guess like there are two things, right? One is obviously we see that NFT is the media, to bridge really the physical to the metaverse even.
Mm-hmm.
Like people can own the NFT can own the NFT format and then as a shoes or whatnot, then they can have obviously showcase it in the metaverse, right? So rather than in the physical world, so like right now they have a phygital twin, so that they can do it both worlds. I guess that's something that very fascinate me. Obviously because of our younger generation, even us, like we are spending more time online and everything, so this is inevitable, I guess. And the other thing is obviously, I think Justin also mentioned about the sustainability. With this kind of movement, we can definitely do some environment saving, right? Because sometimes we sell the NFT first so that we have an idea like how many we can pursue, produce. So I guess in this way, also is a very sustainable way to grow the industry. Yeah.
Okay.
For me, it's probably Cameron from Kong's work on the physical space, trying to work with actual NFC providers. Like I said before, I think one of the things that needs to change for the phygital space to advance is actual protocol level work, but kind of actually standardizes things. Until things are standardized, you're not going to really see you're not going to see a lot of marketplaces adopting it. Every single way that people integrate physical and digital together is going to differ. I really do think there needs to be some level of standardization or a couple of different ways of standardization for it to excel. So I really like Cameron's work at the minute. I think it's very exciting.
Jason, what about you?
Yeah. To me, I think most excited is just imagination that in the future you can buy NFT, buy anything from any game, any metaverse, and then you can go to some, maybe you buy as the ticket and NFT as the ticket, and you go to some party, and in a party you see some a vending machine, and you can use the NFT to redeem maybe coffee. And then maybe your character in the metaverse or in the game, they got some loot about the coffee or about the energy, the potion, something like that. So I think that is the totally different change our experience about the shopping experience. I don't know how to say it, but it's like a hybrid with the online and hybrid is the offline experience about shopping. So I think that is the most exciting thing about.
For me, what I see the bridge between the digital and physical world is the gamification elements that we can start bringing to physical items and clothing. I'm in the gamification space, and all of a sudden I can see brands creating real-world adventures based on your phone and holding your physical item. Think of it like a real-life Pokemon Go. And based on what you're wearing, you can go and collect different rewards and go to different places and be rewarded for doing that. Because now once we're linking that digital and real world space, it can create so many different drivers and activators so that you constantly engage with the brand in different ways and become much more engaged with them just overall as a community. So this is where I see the exciting part of what's happening with e-commerce, taking those physical items, bringing them into a digital space. Now, we only have 2 minutes left, so just one bit of parting words for our audience here today. What would you like them to take away with this, and what would you like them to do as their next action to get into the e-commerce phygital space? I'll start with you, Oliver.
I think it's what I would advise is the same as what I'd advise anyone that's approaching the NFT space at the minute. Come to it from a proper holistic, from a good place. Don't come to it from just trying to make money. Do interesting things. I think phygitals really unlocks that. The gamification stuff there is really interesting. And just read up, look at kind of what's coming in, and try and build the next generation of it rather than what's there at the minute.
How about you, Cindy? What's your one takeaway?
Yeah, I think again, right, I always go back to like the purpose of doing it, right? So not for the sake of like cash grabbing or everything. So really look at what your business or what is the purpose of doing that, rather than just rush to it, right? So I think definitely very much looking for it as well.
Jason?
I know a lot of brands start doing the Web3, so I hope just everyone just chose the brand you like and just support them and join the NFT community, so you will more understand why everyone doing the NFT, why everyone join the NFT community. Yeah.
And I'm just going to reiterate on your point. NFTs have a history. Every time we buy one, they're going to be part of our digital legacy forever. So when we've been speculating with digital art just for price, that's with you. Now, in the real world, we don't wear just random clothing which we don't like. We wear stuff which wants to represent us. So what I like about this world is it's going to be bridging that gap. The stuff we're going to wear in the real world is what we're going to have our identity as in the metaverse, and we're going to be putting those two together. So make sure whatever you're buying for the sake of what you love, rather than just how much money it will make you. Thank you very much, and
Thank you, Wes.
have a great
Thank you
day.
all.
Thanks for the question.
Big hand for our panel, please.